I grew up pretty sheltered. I lived in a small little town that was always really safe. 3 months ago, me and my husband moved to California for his work. And it wasn't the pretty California you think of with palm trees and beaches. It was the ghetto. We moved from hotel to hotel every couple of nights for his work, and it wasn't very much fun at all. Our favorite parts were obviously the weekends. We would go do California things, we'd go thrift store shopping, and at this one thrift store we found a boat. And his parents were actually looking for a boat, and so we ended up calling them, making some arrangements, and we decided we would be taking the boat from California to Arizona that weekend. And so Friday we picked it up, and the thing is, Terrell had to go to work 7 till 5, and he dropped me and the boat off at a hotel just in the parking lot, and I was in charge of boat sitting. And I took that job pretty seriously. Like, after what happened with our truck, I was a little bit paranoid. And I was sitting there watching the boat, and I felt pretty safe until I saw this hole in the fence. And I'm like, what is that? Like, they need to come fix that right now. And then 20 or so minutes later, there was this homeless guy crawling through the hole in the fence, and he literally came like 2 feet away from the boat and like 3 feet away from me. And my heart stopped beating, and I was like, and I watched him walk over to the trash can, and he started digging in the trash can, and then finally he left. And I was like, okay, it's okay, he's gone. He just got whatever he wanted from the trash can. But then like 30 minutes later, he was back right by my boat, and he's just staring me down. It was probably because I'm sitting in a boat outside of a hotel by myself, and that's kind of weird. But for me, I thought he wanted the boat. So I spent the next few hours like freaking out, like, oh, he kept coming back, and he would leave and he would come back, and I'm like talking on the phone to my parents, to my friends, just like, hey, I just need to be talking to someone so he knows that I know that I'm talking to people, right? And finally, after a few hours, my phone was almost dead. I was like, okay, I need to do something else. So he was walking by my boat, and I was like, hey, hi, how you doing? Seen you around before. How's it going, right? And anyway, we kind of started talking, and he was telling me what he was up to, just hanging out, and I told him I was boat sitting. And I saw him pull out his cell phone, and I'm like, wow, you have a phone? That's cool. Anyway, and it kind of dawned on me that I spent all these hours being so terrified of him because I didn't know who he was, I didn't understand his way of life, but really, he was just a guy who maybe had an unfortunate situation, or maybe he even chose that situation for himself because he liked it, he didn't like working, or something like that. And I realized that I don't have to be afraid of him. I mean, you just can't judge a book by its cover because he's just his own person, and that's okay with me.